Biggest thing is not being in a rush when you're fishing with a drop shot. You've already gone to the work to find the spot you want to fish, usually with faster baits. I got a casting platform on my Alumacraft here, which actually makes it so much easier. I feel like I got a huge advantage over the guys in a bass boat who are at water level and don't have that vertical that we have to be able to see down into the water and see those edges. So here's what I'm doing. I'm casting it out there on that line. I'm gonna let it sink down to the bottom and I'm not moving it. I have not moved it yet. And right now, I'm just gonna start jiggling it. And what I'm doing is I'm sending a shock down the line, make that cross tail bounce. The softness of this bait really comes into play. And also the softness of the rod. That softness in the rod allows me to jiggle it, and that bait isn't coming up off the bottom, the weight's staying put. You don't wanna be hopping that weight along like you would a grub or a tube. And after 10-15 seconds of pounding on the spot there, then I'm gonna drag it in 3 or 4 feet, let it sink back down to the bottom, and then do the same thing. I think I'm not quite where I wanna be. I don't know if we moved off the edge a little bit or what, but give me a sec. I can see this edge so much more clear on my finder right now, just because there's a little bit of chop on the water, so I'm just gonna reset once. I like this right here. Okay. We'll see though. I think the boat's gonna swing. I'll be able to fish on the other side. Yeah, I can fish on this side. I'm set up right on this rock sand edge. Fishing's all about edges, and on the Great Lakes here, the water's crystal clear. It's so much easier to visualize that edge. And these smallmouths in the spring are crawling up and down. They're really crawling all over the shallows everywhere, but they're relating to these edges between rock and sand. There's one. You can see I flicked it out there onto that edge, and it's just so textbook. And drop shotting is known to be kind of a deep water technique, but anytime you need a finesse presentation to really hold a bait, look at the size of this fish. That's a big smallie. Hold a bait in a fish's face. Jay and I are here in Sturgeon Bay, pre-fishing. Oh yeah, look at the size of this one. We're pre-fishing for a smallmouth bass tournament coming up. That's one of the ones you want in the live well. That's gonna be in that high 4-pound range, maybe close to 5 pounds. You can see that drop shot minnow way down in his mouth there. This is a jackal crosstail shad. And we often don't use jackal crosstails while we're pre-fishing because they are expensive, but they are the most effective drop shot bait. So you can substitute that with a power minnow or something like that if you want in pre-fish or if you're just fun fishing. But when it comes to tournament fishing, when it really matters for giant fish, nothing beats that crosstail minnow holding it on the spot. Set this one free. Look at that big beast. You know what's funny? We're on Lake Michigan here, and behind us is Green Bay. We're on a little bay off it. This is called Sand Bay. We're staying literally right there at Sand Bay Beach Resort, which is just an amazing place. It's actually a little bit more posh than we usually stay at for resorts, but check their website. They got fisherman specials all the time. And the simple setup of a drop shot is you've got a weight clipped on at the bottom here and then suspended up the line. This is a Gamakatsu drop shot hook. You can get away with just a normal octopus hook, and this is an entry-level Loomis, but this is an amazing rod, and I actually prefer it to some of the higher end drop shot rods that I've used in the past. You can see it's an 822. 82 in that number stands for 82 inches, which is 6'10", very common drop shotting rod length. The last number 2 is a 2 power, which is actually a stout drop shot rod for big fish here on the Great Lakes. So we're picking apart a giant lake, but you can see we're not fishing far from where we're staying, and there's a million techniques for smallmouth, but it doesn't need to be complicated. Drop shotting here, probably the only technique that you would really need to catch smallmouth good all year long.